This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a pop-up COVID-19 testing facility operated in Queenstown today to make sure there's no community transmission in the resort. There's proof in a Dunedin family that an apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as a current student's success mirrors his grandfather's. And a teacher at Otago Boys High School was welcomed back to work with a stirring haka. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Simon Anderson. Hundreds of Queenstown residents have agreed to be tested for COVID-19 at a pop-up site at a local supermarket. The need for mass testing comes after a man who spent time in the resort tested positive for the coronavirus in South Korea.
Queenstown residents are being implored to get tested for COVID-19 as authorities move to rule out the possibility of undetected community transmission in the resort.
I want to strongly encourage you to go and get a test, because this is part of our community surveillance, just to check that there is no COVID-19 lurking out there in the community.
Director General of Health Dr Ashley Bloomfield shared a video yesterday, and the pop-up testing site has been operating at the Pack and Save car park in Frankton. Local Mayor Jim Bolt was among the morning wave of people being tested.
I think it's a great insurance policy. People in the district are a little bit worried about the chap who was here a few weeks back who tested positive.
I just think we have to be very careful of our country, and I think if we can get more data and help them to understand if there's any community tracing, fine. Let's do a few random checks like this.
I just saw the video of Mr Bloomfield yesterday, and I feel like it's a good thing for everyone in Queenstown if we have the possibility to come here and do something good for everyone.
I work on the insource, so I'm always having people coming up to the bridge and saying hi and all that, so I mix with a lot of tourists, people going all over the place, so I thought it's probably best to have a go.
Well, South Chief Executive Andrew Swanson-Dobbs says they were happy to answer the call from Dr Bloomfield.
Over the weekend, the conversation with the Ministry of Health about how do we increase the number of swabs done in this region, and the answer was, can you please do another pop-up in Queenstown? So again, rang the owners of Pack and Save, and they said, yep, more than welcome to use the car park.
He says he rang around medical staff and easily found enough people to run today's event. They were aiming to swab 300 or more people, and if early morning statistics were anything to go by, they were going to do better than the 300 target.
And we weren't sure how many we were going to get, but by 9:30 we'd already done 100.
The pop-up ran from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m, with the aim of making sure there's no community transmission of the virus. In Queenstown, The South Today.
The Dunedin City Council says it's not looking for a fire sale of Dunedin Railway's stock and plant. Last week, the council called for expressions of interest on how assets from Dunedin Railways Limited might be viably used. The council says it's exploring alternative operating models which will keep the railway in the city. The company was put into hibernation last month. Dunedin Mayor Aaron Hawkins says any proposal which may include a change of ownership involving the sale of assets will be subject to full public consultation. Key assets include the Taieri Gorge line, rolling stock and property in Middlemarch. Submissions close next Thursday. While University of Otago student Connor Hassan was learning about mathematics and statistics, he didn't realise his great-grandfather Miles Barnett's thesis was stored just a few doors down in the same building. In another twist, Hassan received the same scholarship as his great-grandfather, just 90 years apart.
University of Otago Maths and Stats honours student Connor Hassan has discovered his great-grandfather's master's thesis, locked away in his cabinet in the physics department. He jokingly says the 1923 thesis on radio waves by esteemed scientist Miles Barnett has been the inspiration for his own thesis this year.
I was kind of just sitting with it like, oh, cool, like it's pretty cool, sort of looked through it, gave me some ideas for my thesis this year maybe. No, it didn't at all. I can't understand a word of it. It's way above me.
Actually, the thesis Hassan is working on is a statistical analysis on how fake news affects elections. He says his great-grandfather's hand-drawn graphs are definitely a century away from his own computer modelling.
The biggest difference I noticed was like all of the graphs and the like sort of analysis I do for my stuff is like sitting away, like plugging away at a computer, typing up code and stuff, and it felt like a lot more sort of, it's probably experimental physics, which is like a lot of sort of like trial about how the like real world works.
21-year-old Hassan is already in his 4th year at uni and says the scientific text of his great-grandfather doesn't give much indication of him being a young man in his early 20s, still finding his way in the world.
Like when you're reading like his work, you don't really sort of put it into context, sort of where he is in his life. You sort of just see all the things he did and sort of just think of him as like an adult who had everything together.
Both Hassan and his great-grandfather have been awarded the Beverley Scholarship, although nearly 100 years apart. And Hassan says he wants to go on to do postgraduate studies in statistics. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Police are asking for the public's help following a burglary in South Otago last week. They are seeking witnesses after a man was seen on a number of properties in Matoda's Old Coach Road on Friday. The man, described as Caucasian, was wearing a sleeveless oilskin vest, a black beanie and oversized boots. He was reportedly carrying 2 red fuel cans and, at one property, took a set of keys from a vehicle. Anyone who thinks they may have seen the man or who has information about who he might be should contact police by calling 105 or anonymously through Crime Stoppers. It wasn't the usual welcome back to work for Otago Nuggets championship winning coach yesterday. Otago boys high school teacher Brent Matahaere was welcomed back to school with a rousing haka from his pupils less than 48 hours after winning the National Basketball League on Saturday night.
An emotional welcome back to work for Otago's latest championship coach. Otago Nuggets basketball coach Brent Matahaere receives a special welcome as he returns to work at Otago Boys High School yesterday. Matahaere took 6 weeks leave from his usual role as a PE teacher to guide the Nuggets to their championship victory.
Oh, this is awesome. I've taught the haka here for a long time, and obviously we made some adjustments to it in years gone by, but to receive one was pretty special.
A group of boys wore white shoes, a tribute to the coach's struggle to find brown shoes to match his blue suit. But the fashion faux pas may have been the secret to success.
Yeah, who would think, that you wouldn't be able to find a pair of size 14s in central Auckland in brown shoes. So ended up, Kane Kyle said, look, wear these white ones. And they came out, and it sort of stirred up a bit of interest. And then we started wearing the Omnis, which didn't work so well. The green shoes in the suit didn't really go too well. So yeah, we stuck with white, and when it started winning, the orange socks came out.
Many of those taking part in the welcome were taught the haka by Matahaere. Head boy Angus Henderson thought the welcome was one of the best he's ever experienced at school.
I've been a fan of Otago basketball and played for so long, so it always just seemed like Otago, we try really hard but never really quite get to the top. So to see Mr. Matahaere and the Nuggets come out on top, it was just so cool to see.
A few of the squad joined Matahaere at the school yesterday, including old boy Benoit Heyman, who put a big reason for the win down to team culture.
Oh, it was really special. I mean, I was very fortunate to be on the team here in 2014 when we won a national title, and to win another one now with Brent the coach again, and to come back, really for me the haka, that was just, I think, a beautiful moment.
The school's top basketball players will not have to wait long to get a renewed taste of the NBL's Coach of the Year. They left at 6:45 a.m. today to play Timaru Boys High School. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. A soon-to-be-completed service station receives an important delivery, and we have the last instalment from our election tour. See you soon.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put some colour in your life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today. Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Namaya Nor, welcome back. Commuters in Dunedin yesterday may have thought they were seeing things with a large metal tank hanging high in the air. Two 90,000 litre fuel tanks were lifted into place at NPD's new station in Andersons Bay Road yesterday morning. The station is set to open at month's end and is the company's third self-service site in Dunedin. Its others are in Port Chalmers and Green Island. NPD Chief Executive Barry Sheridan says the site strengthens the company's presence in the South Island, where it hopes to have 80 outlets by the end of the year. The NPD site is set to be followed by 2 Waitomo self-service fuel stops opening tomorrow. Visual journalist Craig Baxter and Otago Daily Times reporter Daisy Hudson travelled through the South recently to gauge attitudes towards the upcoming national election. Tonight we play you the last instalment from their journey.
Hi everyone, so today is the day. It's the last day of our Southern Roadie. As you can see from old mate behind me, we've made it to Gore. We are going to stop here for a little bit this morning and then head on through to Balclutha before we make it back to Dunedin. Let's go and find out what the locals have to say.
Big issues, of course, the election coming up, and we've just had our local member for National resign. Another big one would be the loss of H&J Smith's closing coming up in the future, so that's a big hit for retail in the town as well. It's quite iconic too, so yeah, that's going to be a big loss.
I mean, Gore
this is sort of a national stronghold?
I would say so, yeah. I think you're brought up that way. It just goes through the generations, yeah.
Yeah, look, if you look at politics, there's been a bit of a exiting of the few. Southland in particular is normally quite a blue patch. It'll be very important, the person that they put forward, especially having rural roots. Basically for here, sort of getting back on our feet to do with X virus, etc., etc. The rural side here is quite insulated, and basically we're not so far before we get into carving and lambing and bits and pieces like that. So look, we're doing all right. It's just everyone's wondering what's on the other side. So.
What do you think people are looking for in their next MP here?
Someone that understands rural roots, because that's what we are. The last couple of years the country really hasn't been kind to the rural side, but it's quite funny over the lockdown and bits and pieces where environment, I suppose, was allowed to breathe and the rural sector was still continuing as normal. Everything seemed to get a whole lot better with streams and more birds in the air, etc., etc. So.
It's been pretty hard here in Gore since the start of the year, with flooding and then going into COVID. So we've had to deal with a lot with just dealing with people, looking after people, being a more community spirit and just getting behind everyone. That's what we've been, just being a community, loving people and being one, really. So just dealing with all those emergencies we've had. As for the future of the district with the MP, we've got a lot of people here that would stand up to that anyway, and we've got a lot of people that are leaders in industry that are capable of doing roles like that. So I don't think that is such an issue as such.
After the break on the South today, we chat with a departing rugby referee and we take a look at your midweek weather. See you soon.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Shall I make some scones?
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Thanks for staying with us. After almost a lifetime of service to rugby in the south, Des Smith can now enjoy the oval ball game from the sideline instead of the boardroom. Rugby Chat's Paul Dwyer sat down with the now former president of Otago Rugby Football Union to talk about his involvement in the game and what the future holds for Schoolboy Rugby.
This week I've got Des Smith in. Now Des will need no introduction. Des has done everything in Otago Rugby. He's been a manager. He's been the president for the last 5 years. He's been involved for schools rugby for 27 years. You've got an honour. You've got an honour now. What's your honour?
Oh, I got a Queen's Award. Yeah, New Zealand Order of Merit. Yeah,
do I get to call you sir because of that?
No.
Right.
Yeah, anyway.
So, but look, I want to ask you a couple of series of questions about schools rugby. Look, we've had COVID this year, and I've seen a couple of kids in Auckland come out in the papers and in media saying their rugby career's been ruined because there's been no big, Super 8, Super 6, whatever they want to call it, competition for New Zealand schools. So that's really put a dampener on their career. So they're going to go back to school next year to get that year to put their career back on track. Is that not over the top?
Yeah, I think. My view is there's in some schools, not all schools, but some schools, there's too much pressure on first 15s. So there's definitely some boys who just have too much in that last year at school.
Yep.
And some of them do drop out of the game.
They burn out, don't they?
They burn out. They're training 4 nights a week. Some are in the gym at 7 in the morning before school. So they just had enough. And to try and get them into clubs, therefore, is not easy. And if they do come to clubs...
Well, Kaika don't have a problem, but that's another story.
Well, no, it's...
But is it a real problem? Is it because...
It's not a problem for all boys, but
Right.
but some schools, I believe it is a problem. I think a lot of it's built around the particular coaching. So if you've got a coach who understands what they should be doing with those players, which is really about their development.
Yep.
About them becoming better people and better players.
Rather than the result becomes all important?
Yeah, it's all about winning and often the ego of the coach too.
Yeah.
So if we can just move away from that and concentrate on developing the players in their game to be the best they can be, but also develop them as people, then we'll be a lot better off. And those kids will then look forward to moving on to the clubs.
And the latest episode of Rugby Chat can be watched online at any time on www.odt.co.nz. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. A pop-up COVID-19 testing facility operated in Queenstown today to make sure there's no community transmission in the resort. There's proof in a Dunedin family that an apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as a current student's success mirrors his grandfather's. And a teacher at Otago Boys High School was welcomed back to work with a stirring haka. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we have Craig Page with us this evening. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening. We've got more on the Queenstown COVID testing as well, of course. A big go up there today. Latest figures suggest more than 1,000 people will be tested by the end of the day, queuing up, of course, to start the morning as well. I think long queues there, and they had done 400 by lunchtime. Even Mayor Jim Bolt was amongst them today. So, yeah, we've got a bit of a wrap there and talked to a few people that were involved as well. If you think things are starting to get a bit warmer and the sun's out, we're not the only ones. The flowers are starting to blossom and native birds are making the most of that as well. Illustrations editor Stephen Jackery, who's not afraid of taking the odd photograph of birds, has been out and about today and has put together amazing little montages, some photos there today, so well worth a look. Busking on the streets of Dunedin is about to get a little bit harder. The DCC proposing a new bylaw with submissions just closing. Distancing is a big thing, how many buskers you can have on a certain stretch of footpath. They also need the permission of businesses that they're going to busk outside as well, which I'm sure some businesses will be pleased to hear. And they're also restricting the length of time that you can perform as well, from 90 minutes to 60 minutes. So yeah, lots of submissions in on that, and they're going to be discussing it in I think October of this year, so there might be some changes there. And just finally, on our fresh food pages, we talked to Southern fisherman Nate Smith, who's just been awarded the New Zealand Food Sustainability Awards Emerging Leader Award. It's a mouthful. He operates out of Bluff, and quite an amazing job. Picked it up, started about 3 years ago, went out on his own, but he only catches fish that he has orders for, and also kills them humanely as well. So all about, I guess, protecting his business for the future as well as sustainability. So good read, that one.
That's great. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the city view, it's just amazing where road cones can get to overnight. Looking at the situation, northerly airflow remains tomorrow with showers on the western ranges spreading to the south coast at times. Colder southwesterly airflow will arrive late in the week with more widespread showers. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport, both are cloudy with showers and 12 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim, you can expect a cloud or two across your skies and 16 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, it'll be cloudy across this area. Kaikoura 13, Christchurch should reach 14 and Ashburton aims for 12. To the southern towns, plan for moderate northeasterlies with cloudy skies across this area. The Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all set to reach 12 degrees. In central Otago, you can expect moderate northerlies and high cloud. Wanaka and Queenstown should get to 12, Alexandra aims for 13, while Tiano is due to have rain and 12 degrees. To the northern towns, on the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect light northeasterlies with some high cloud, 14 in Timaru and 13 in Oamaru. Inland, those in Twizel and Ormarama can also plan for moderate northerlies, that's 13 degrees for you both. In Dunedin, cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 7 degrees, dry with thick, high cloud tomorrow and light winds tending northeasterly, a high of 11 and a low of 7 degrees. Overcast on Thursday with rain at times and breezy, cold northeasterlies, a high of 11 again and a low of 8 degrees. And in Invercargill, high cloud tonight and the lows are consistent. They're all 8 degrees till Thursday. Cloudy tomorrow with scattered rain at times, so with dry periods too. Mild with moderate northerly winds and a high of 12 degrees. Cloudy on Thursday with periods of light rain and moderate northerlies, one warmer on 13. That's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz, where you can find us on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening and week. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.